everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Tie the Knot with Emeka the Romantic Muchiga. It is another day, another awesome day to host a beautiful couple. But first of all, I'd like to say thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for viewing, and I'm glad that the show is growing. Thank you so much for the positive comments, because this is what keeps me moving. It's what keeps us moving. And remember, the show is all about love, marriage. We host couples that are intending to get married, people who have been married for a while, and very soon I'm going to be bringing marriage counselors. We're going to be talking about strictly marriage and love. Now today I have another awesome and beautiful couple that are getting married, and the guys I'm introducing today are not new to you guys. You've seen them. First of all, the lady has is still a sensation on TikTok, but her life changed. And the guy I'm hosting is a pastor, a youth pastor, and I'm really, it's a pleasure to see that I grew up with him. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. and Mrs. Ongeimungu to be. We normally call you Sumbas. Welcome to the show, Cris and Nila.
Thank you, Emeka.
How are you guys?
Oh, good. Are you well? I might be speaking for us.
Well. I'm well. I could be better than you. I'm well.
I can see the way you're looking at
We're good. We're good.
Anyway,
We're happy to be here.
So, guys, how is the relationship? How are you guys? How has the journey been? Dating each other? How has it been?
That's where you go first.
It's been a journey indeed. It's
Yeah.
been lesson upon lesson.
Hey,
Like I have new things to learn about him almost every day.
just,
Yeah.
When I sit like this.
for how long have you known each other? For how long have you guys dated?
That's a good question. We've dated for it's been a year. Or even less. I don't think it's been a year. Yeah, I don't think it's been a year. About 8 months.
8 months.
Yes, and here we are.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's been a
and
beautiful-
how long have you guys been friends?
That's a question she should answer. She knew me before I knew her.
Yeah, maybe when we get to
Yeah.
when we met,
Yeah.
that's why he says you knew me before I knew you. But we've been friends for as long as we've been dating. We didn't become friends for so long before we started dating.
So the friendship and dating has been within that space. Of
Exactly,
8 months.
exactly. That's
Interesting.
our story.
Very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, that's
Anyway,
our story.
So you see, this generation, and I think even the older generation, people believe that for one to start dating a person, you must have known them for quite a while. Because I know couples who have been married for, let's say, 5 years, or they've been together for like 5 years. The guy tells you, I was her friend for 2 years or 3 years. Then in the remaining 1 year, I decided to
Let's
engage
do
her
it.
and get married.
Mm.
So how did you guys beat that bond? How did you guys say that, okay, we are friends, from being friends in that space of 8 months,
Let's do it.
let's do it.
Yeah.
First of all, I've made 30 already.
Ooh, okay.
You know things.
So most definitely, I've seen things. I know what I want.
Yes.
And it wasn't so difficult to see what I want.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
decided.
To know these are the red flags I can deal with, these are my deal breakers, this I can tolerate, this I can't tolerate. So,
Quick, but you were straight to the point, you know what you wanted.
yeah, I didn't need to be his high school sweetheart for me.
Different. Our stories are really different from one another. I know people who have dated for 9 years. Let's not mention them.
I was actually telling him the other day, I'm like, what's wrong with high school sweethearts? The moment they get married like this, things change. And then you're like, nah, yeah, you've known each other since Form 4. How come, like, 1 year in marriage, you want to part ways?
Yes.
So-
what
so
really causes that?
I don't know. As I said, we're different. We're really, really different by design. How my story starts, not how yours started.
Yeah.
And so for us, when we met each other, we really had some serious conversations. Of course, we had some. We didn't like meet today and say, "Yo, girl, you're the guy." You're the one. Yeah, so we had some time to converse and get to know each other. We're really honest about one another, and we spent so much time celebrating our weaknesses and also celebrating our pasts. And so there's nothing that came after that shocked me or shocked her. We knew these things. And so we just after getting to know those things, we said, you know what are we still doing? Let's do this. Yeah.
That's
Here we are.
really, really good.
Shocked me their decision to get married.
Wait, he didn't look like that type.
I think I didn't look like I
it's
wanted
not that
to.
he didn't look like that type.
Yeah,
But I woke up one day and he's like, I think
I'm ready.
I'm
Yeah.
ready. This is it. I'm not going beyond.
Nila, for you were already ready.
Yeah,
Were you ready? You see, for a man, you really plan these things in your head. You set timelines. You begin to work towards them.
Yeah.
Especially lifelong decisions like marriage. You begin to work towards them, and so by the time the girl dem sugar comes in, you know what's up. You know, yes,
Yeah.
you know. You know how to choose exactly, not any, because of course many of them came my way before I decided.
Yes.
Yeah, many of them,
Mm.
and in that period of trying to get to a place where you really want to settle with someone, you see things like, man, no, I don't think I can stand this. There's some things you can stand for the rest of your life, but then there's some things you just cannot stand. And so as time goes on, you begin to see things and begin to pray about them. And zero down.
To her.
And zero down.
Anyway.
Yeah, so that's our story is. Yeah.
Nila,
Mhm.
like we know you. Nila, people know you on TikTok. You've made viral videos, like really viral videos, and I've looked at them and I've laughed. There are things you've mentioned, actually, before getting to know that Nila actually you got born again.
That's a story for another day.
Yeah. So I knew that old Nila. I remember there's a time I was in Bar, I'd gone home just to rest. Then we had lunch together with some friends, and the conversation we had really showed, or didn't really show, that you are getting married anytime soon. Man, 1 year down the road, I go for Christmas cantata at Watoto Mbarara, and guess who sits next to me, putting on a tag for an usher. Look at me, I first didn't believe it was Nila. And she tells me,
cantata, there are no lights, like we're all in the dark. We sat through the whole production.
We sat through the
Then
whole
at
production.
the end, he turned and said,
I'm
Nila.
like, Nila. So I was so shocked. And she's like, oh, meanwhile, I want you to come and MC our wedding. And I think my fiancé has talked to you. In my head, I'm like, wait.
Who is this guy?
Who is this guy? And guess what? She was recording, and her camera was focusing on one person.
Was I on stage?
You were on stage. So I'm like, wait a minute. So I started putting dots together. And she's like, Cris. I'm like, I was excited. I was shocked. I was like, okay.
I was like, I knew Cris was getting married. But I
yes,
didn't
but I
know
didn't know that I was getting married.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, so to cut the long story short, Nila tells me she got saved. Nila, tell me, how was that journey transitioning from the old person you are to the Nila you are right now, to the extent that you decided to even settle for a pastor? What made you come to that decision?
From way back, way back, as far as campus,
Yeah.
I was so interested in getting born again.
But
The people around me,
they were not helping.
the friends I had were different. Then I used to see born again people as judgmental. They have natural hair, they wear African prints, they don't do this, they don't do that. I'm like, But the friends who are welcoming were the friends who are not leading me in the right path. But somehow it was there in the heart.
Yeah.
So like a conviction has been there for years. Like there are things I do and I Like I have that remorse, which not everyone has.
Yeah.
Like even when I used to go out as this kind of person who doesn't do what others are doing, but I'm out, you'll see me. You'll see my face there, but I'm not doing the crazy.
Yeah.
But I think I've been to churches. I've tried to be born again here and there. But a time came when I was so convicted, like you feel like this life, you're living life wrongly.
Yeah.
And I remember the time I made a decision, unlike others who get altar calls and people to talk to them and people to do what, I was seated in a bar.
And you go to
alone.
Uh-huh.
And our former pastor, GT,
Yeah.
like I'd already started going to Watoto.
Yes.
And I remember vividly seeing like GT seated next to me and asking me if this is how I want to live my life.
Wait, you were in a bar and you just saw
I was in a bar seated with my friend. Like my friend had come to Mbara, and I don't usually have conversations, those long conversations. I was like, I'm going to bore this chick. Let me take her out. There's a bar just near my home. There's a friend who had a bar there. We sat, and somehow I felt like I was in the wrong place.
Yeah.
There was actually a guy who was fighting with his wife, and I'd invited them to church that day. Then in the evening, I went out, and the couple walked into the bar.
To the bar, together. Were they happy?
Yeah, they were happy. Then I looked at them and I'm like, so when they see me, the person that invited them to church
is in a bar.
is in a bar.
Yeah.
How do they really take Christ and church? I think they're like, church is a place you just go to, dress well, have a good time, and go and do your own things. And that was my turning point. I was like, no, I need to change this. And I told my friend, let's go home. And she's like, this early? I'm like, let's go home. And my friend is like, but you seem angry. And I'm like, no, let's go home. So I get home. I cried for over like 3 hours. I didn't know what was making me cry. But I was tired of the life I was living. Not that it was so bad, but I was just tired. I didn't have the right friends. My relationship with my parents was not good because of the life I was living.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, this is the time. And I remember turning and telling my friend, I'm done. And she thought I was joking because I've told them I'm done before. And I've come back. And she's like, Nila, the way you've cried, I thought I'd done something wrong. She's like, no. I'm like, yeah, I'm done. And I'll never go out again. I'll never drink again. I'll never do what. And I'm going to church. I didn't know that I was going to end up serving. I knew I was going to now go to church diligently. Evening of worship, morning of prayer. Yeah, like every thing I thought was now devoted to church. Until time came, I got to church, got interested in serving, being a volunteer here and there. And here we are. I met a man. I used to hear people, where did you meet? We met in church. And I'm like, who was going
to be you? So Cris, I guess you were like watching her TikToks.
I used to see them, but of course I've never understand.
You never understand?
Yeah, the language really. I would never click them.
I remember him telling me, so you were that.
So you're
like,
the one. Yeah.
So Cris, what was your first impression of her when you like approached her and you saw her? What was your first impression?
First of all, she had white hair in church.
So you mean white hair is not allowed in church?
No. It is. She was the only person with tinted hair. At some point, I had a tinted beard, but we hadn't met.
Yeah.
So I didn't find it strange that she had tinted hair. And so I would see a girl in the congregation with tinted hair, and then she would sit right behind the pastors, the second row.
Yes.
You get. She would just sit right there. And then there's this one particular Sunday, we had a very beautiful sermon going on in church. I don't remember the topic of the sermon, but it was such an interesting sermon. It engaged the congregation, and so she kept on making comments in the congregation. And then I turned around to like, who is this girl making comments in the house of the Lord?
Yeah.
So I turned, and our eyes
Met.
Yeah.
It's like an Indian movie.
By the way, every time I remember that moment, I'm like, man, I need to write this somewhere.
And then our eyes turned. Lock in, and it just stopped there. And then I think a month later, that's when we organized the road trip. Yeah, and so
You and her or the church?
no, the church, the general church road trip. We were going to visit some a home, one of the Watoto homes.
Yeah.
Long story. Let's not get into the details. And so that is where we really grew closer. Throughout that journey, she traveled in another van. I was another, but we came back together. I don't know, why did you come to our van? but so throughout that journey, then after that, we go on our first date. Won't mention where it was. We go on our first date. That's where we really started chatting some more. And talking and getting to know each other and meeting each other more often.
Yeah.
And then a month after that we actually started dating. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys started dating after 2 months of you meeting at all?
Just like
But the
that.
intention was there. Like, you see, this is not my friend. No, even your friends were telling you, you're
Confessions were there on both ends.
So you already you had a crush on him?
Of course, before even saying hi to her. then
Nila, tell us. Did you have a crush on him?
I think she even tinted her hair for me to notice her.
I always tell him there are very many things that are different with him from the guys I've dated before. Like I was the kind of chick who used to think you have to chase me first. I even rarely saw handsome guys. Like, you have to chase me before
you accept.
Before I accept. Like, I don't even have to appreciate a guy.
Yeah.
They have to first talk to me. I see how they talk, their mindsets, then I can see whether to fall. But for him, in 2022, I think it was July. If you watch my TikTok, I did a TikTok about guys with beards. I did a story and I'm like, guys, today I went to church and I saw a guy with beards. And this was the guy.
So it always reaches
So somehow, every time, I used to be in another church, but we didn't have a physical pastor in Bara. So I shared with a friend of mine and I'm like, I'm tired of this church where we go and then watch everything on TV. And I'm like, I want a church that has a physical pastor that I can even walk to and talk to.
Yeah.
And then the chick is like, you come to Watoto. I just joined Watoto and we are really having an amazing time. And I'm like, by the way, Watoto was coming to Mbara. And she's like, it's been here since lockdown. And I'm like, okay, on Sunday we shall go. So when I reached church, he was leading service. So I seated next to this girl and I'm like, that's a guy I would date.
Say it again.
I was like, that's a guy I would date. And my friend is like, Joe Segu Muchach. And then we laugh about it. That was even before tinting my hair.
Then she tinted her hair.
Natural hair.
To be noticed.
So, like, we leave and I kept on coming back. But every time I came, he was done leading service.
I was serving the Lord.
And though he speaks eloquently and what, I'm like, I remember even the first time he told me how I have nice hair and that, and I was like, if I spoke the way you speak, like if I address people the way you speak, you would be finished. Like, for me, it was the way he spoke. I was like,
so I spoke
So you
right
love the way he
into your
spoke.
heart, like pinch also.
So you also love the way he preached our day.
I'm not preaching, leading service. You know, those people are like, welcome to Watoto Church.
So you love the way he did that.
Yeah. So the first time I tell my friend, I'm like, that's a guy I would date. My friend is like, Job, say go to church. So we leave. Then I think that's not the time I did the video. The next time I come, he's leading the video, and now I'm noticing the physical looks. I'm like,
I was serving.
There was a time
Even
was
God
of
knows.
gold.
Yeah.
when they were asking us what type of men notice you, what kind of men do you notice, and I'm like, a man who doesn't have hair. I'm here.
No, I have.
So you love men without hair.
This is where I hold my class.
When you said you want bald men.
But he was fitting the description.
Ticking every physical box. I was like, that's when I went back home and I'm like, man, but it's a koloko kakonga nyowe. Na namshisha interview and I'm done.
Hatuwaza kujunwa, wangomu kujunwa, wangwa moravu.
So, I continued coming to Watoto once in a while. Until I tinted my hair, and that's when he started noticing me.
Ta-da!
You're here for him to notice.
Not for me. For tinting my hair.
Yeah.
But then, that's when he started seeing me. Like, this person in church with white hair. Sitting right behind. Meanwhile, what I didn't tell you, the times I used to go to other churches, as always the backbencher.
Yeah.
Like, the moment the preacher bores me,
You move out.
I was always next to the exit. But this time around,
Yeah.
pastor's here, me here.
So
Like,
you'd sit in front. What made you
just
sit
behind
in front?
pastor. I don't like this time around. I had
She just wanted to
yearning
get
for
closer
God.
to God.
I had this yearning for God. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted to listen to the gospel. I wanted to know everyone. I wanted, like, this time I was really
You were
interested.
yearning for God. But now see how your desire.
And I
passion-
remember that time you turned. I remember you were talking to Sheila like this. Then you turned.
Who's this
I
girl?
remember my husband.
Then your heart skipped a bit. You know, see how your passion and desire to yearn for God
Led
you
me to a husband.
led you to meet a husband. I think that was actually God doing it. Anyway,
Most of it has been.
it has been
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
We know that for sure. This relationship has been God.
I used to see him
No way,
hug
yeah.
everyone. Hey, Cris. But when it comes to me, he just walks around, looks at me. He doesn't greet me, and I'm like, Vanai.
Kankola,
For long.
I'm going to greet you for the rest of your life.
You're going to greet her for the rest of my life. And not just any greeting.
Yeah.
Me, is it because I'm new? This guy never greets me. You remember that time I told you I was looking for Martha? And you were just next to me all the entire time. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, can't you just say hi?
So you were doing a lot of things just for him to
And
notice.
meanwhile, a guy just bypasses him and touches my hair. And he's like, nice hair. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you could have done that as well.
Oh,
like,
wow.
why are you?
Oh, wow. Wow. Anyway, but what an interesting story. What an interesting story.
Yeah.
So, you guys have seen all this has happened. We've known your past life. Cris, you were a DJ.
My guy. Don't say those things on camera.
No. Not just a DJ. He was a gospel DJ. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember we used to know you as DJ Cris, then you rebranded to
Reverend
Reverend
DJ. Yeah.
Reverend DJ. And
It was unique.
actually, he's still saved in my phone as Cris, Reverend DJ.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Cris, how was that transition from being a DJ, gospel DJ? You're now serving the
In
Lord.
church.
And from serving the Lord, you've been promoted to a youth pastor, because I believe you're on a journey of becoming now a real, a main pastor.
If God calls me.
If God calls you.
Yes.
Now from now being a youth pastor, how has that journey been? You as a youth pastor, you're single, you're seeing morphers. Now, no morphers. Morphers these are teenagers.
Yeah. So teen service. Yeah.
Teen service. No, so Cris leads the teen service.
Yeah.
So I believe you were seeing these teens. And we know of men of God who have fallen
That's very
to
true.
temptation. They're seeing these young girls and they're like, banana. So how are you able to control yourself amongst all these? Because I want to deny, really. People say, what? Toto has hot girls.
They are children of God. Those
They
are
are
God's
children
girls.
of God. But let me tell you, there's that point in life as a man, if you are not man enough, if you do not have God in you, for Cris, how are you able to compose yourself amongst all these teenagers?
Yeah. The transition was a tricky one.
Yeah.
It happened at a point when I was least prepared.
Wow.
I started by losing my job at Power FM, and it came in abruptly.
Yeah.
Very, very abrupt. Staff called us off, and contracts terminated, and that was it. Life has to start, and now I have to go back to the drawing board, ask God what the next plan is. God, you led me here. Now where am I going? And I remember while I was in that season, it was a very tough season. My life, I'd given up on life. I'd given up on church. I'd left church for about a month, and I was just at home, seeking God and seeking direction and trying to find out where next. And so I began to get dreams about leaving Barra. One of the dreams I had, I've shared this with so many friends. One of the dreams I had was I was in a bus and I was heading to Rwanda. And when I got to a stopover, those bus stopovers, the bus left me and it proceeded. Now I had to stay where the bus had stopped, and that was the dream.
So the bus had stopped in
Yes.
Mara.
I don't know if it was
It
Mbara.
was
I didn't even know. I had no idea I was ever going to end up in Mbara. And so the bus leaves me and it proceeds. And then 2 days later, I was called by one of the pastors at church to just check in on me and find out where I was and where life had thrown me. And so I tell him, I'm around. I'm at home, just seeking God after this thing that has happened. Just trying to believe God for the next step of my life. And then he calls me to his office and he tells me, now, there's an opportunity for someone to go and serve. He mentioned, these are the things they said. They said, for you to go and serve in a village where there's no power, there's no water. It's a village. You're going to, it's real ministry. You want to bring up a church from scratch and just help the young people of that church grow in their walk with God. I told him without hesitation that I will go. I told him I will go. I didn't even think about the dream I had had in that moment. I just wanted to leave Kampala. I was tired of Kampala. I was tired of being broke. I had a landlord on my neck. I had no job, remember? Yes, I told him I will go. Whatever this comes with. He said, kakana. That's what he said, kakana. Just go and think about it and come back to me. He gave me 2 weeks to make up my mind.
But you had already
I gave him 1 week. I'll come back to you in a week. And so when I went back home, I became intentional about it. Like, leave alone the excitement of leaving Kampala to go to another village and start afresh. Of course, so many other things were going on in my life around that time, not just my job being lost, but I had some other things going on, and I just wanted to start afresh. So that opportunity helped me a lot. And so I just became intentional about it, prayed about it, meditated. Then I remembered the dream. Then I had another dream, and this time it was clear that it was Mbarara. So I go back to him and ask him, is this village you're talking about Mbarara? So he asked me, how did you know? And I told him about it. Like, yes. So I want to send you to Mbarara. It's not a village like I had said, but this is what I'm going to go on. And so he sent me to an office in Bogolovi, PAG. So the church I was going to serve was a PAG church. PAG is a fellowship that harbors Watoto and other Pentecostal assemblies of God. So Watoto is a fellowship of PAG. So when they were looking for someone to help the church in Mbarara, they came to Watoto. So that is how Watoto Church now sends me to Mbarara to serve under PAG. So I remember I had you remember how I used to dress those days?
I remember very
like
well.
a typical Ugandan DJ.
Kampala DJs.
Typical Kampala DJ.
Yeah.
Here I am heading to serve the Lord in Mbarara. I remember my first service, my first church in Mbarara. There's a lady who walked to me and told me, we don't do that here. She pointed at my jeans. They were ripped jeans, and she told me, we don't do that here. I called my mom and shared with her this thing and how they told me this doesn't work here. She sent me some money to buy clothes. I said, got some khaki pants and yeah, so life started that way. That was my transition, and I loved it. And I remember while I was on the bus to Mbarara for my first time, I prayed to God to lead me to a man to a pastor who will preach his heart, a pastor who has the heart of God. And trust me, when I walked into that building, the presence of God was evident. You could tell that the people in this room pray to a God who exists. And that is how my stay in Barra was. And they actually sent me to go and see if I can handle. I hadn't signed the contract. It wasn't really real. They just said, go and see if you can handle this thing. Day one became now 6 years.
Wow.
In Barra. And
Interesting.
yes, it's been a beautiful thing. Then you asked a question about
self-control.
Those things.
How you handle yourself.
Yes, scripture says that I've hidden your word in my heart that I may not sin against you. And so that is one thing that keeps us going. Bible says that we should look at young girls as sisters and older ones as our mothers.
Yeah. And
so that is one thing that has kept me there. Like, you are my sister. This is my mother. Okay? If this sister of mine who is going to be my wife, if God has planned for something bigger than that, it will happen.
Yeah.
You'll pray about it. Of course, you see a girl. More of us are really young guys. Yeah. But
have you seen 19-year-olds?
I don't care. Yeah.
They look
Those are my
25.
children. Those are my children.
Yeah.
Of course, but of course you will like someone and you want to approach them and talk to them about it, and as I said in the beginning, want to start a relationship with them, but somewhere along the way, it's just compatibility is just not there, it doesn't work, and it's okay to end things on mutual grounds. But you've seen guys who date you in their head and they walk to you on the last day like, man, it's done.
Are really mutual.
Like, they walk to you on the last day like, man, I think I'm done with this. Like, what are you done with? Yeah, but of course on mutual grounds, understanding things and then making sure. So that is how you really walk this journey. Christianity is not an easy thing. People see us in church and think we are saints. Okay, but one thing I have learned in my years of ministry is that church is not a museum for pristine saints. It's a hospital ward for people who are looking for healing here and there, and they're there. The struggles are there. While you're thinking you're going to find someone in church to spend the rest of your life with, it could be a demon you get, and you don't know these things. And so, with prayer and trusting in God, He's able to lead your heart and guide you. That's why I'm saying that this relationship has been God from day one. Yeah, if it wasn't God, it would have ended. Yeah, it would have ended a long time ago. But it's been God. Yeah. Not like we see them and we see red flags and make clothes out of them. Yeah, but we don't. Yeah, it's been God.
So what is that one? I'll start with you, Nila. That one memorable moment in your dating period, that moment you look at and you're like, oh my God, I wish this could happen over and over again.
There are many. That's your question. But I know there are many.
You might think it was our first hug, but it wasn't.
Don't tell them where we have first hug.
I'll tell them.
What
we were going for that.
No.
Remember, we had never had a conversation or anything.
Yeah.
That time, people sent me to class and I refused. I was waiting for you. But you came late. I was like...
They sent you to?
Like, different vans. I was like, no, let me do it. But after...
I to come and pick you up from that morning. Then you folks me.
Yeah. Do you know, he went to my place to pick me and I was already at church.
Oh, wow.
That's how I got
at 6 a.m.
Please make it clear that I am a timekeeper.
So you went to his van?
No, I didn't go to his van. I traveled with our pastor by then. Had a good time. Then we reached Masaka, Gaz. Then we park for a break to pee, do whatever. Then I get out and the guy walks from his shuttle, hugs me very tight. I'm so happy to see you. And I'm like, Bola. Like, we've never talked, we've never hugged, we've never...
We had of course been chatting.
But it felt good.
Never met.
Then I tell Martha, I've mentioned that name. So I tell my friend, I'm like, why is Cris hugging me like that?
Why is he hugging you?
Before I knew it's the second hug, now we are leaving. And I'm like, that's unusual. Then when we enter the van, my friend is like, I saw that. And I'm like, remember, she's the same friend I told I can date that guy.
So the best moment was the hug.
Not
You
that
never
one.
forget.
When we reached Bira,
Hey.
I remember I was seated with Martha like this, and there was a seat here, and you were like, can't you sit in between?
Me?
Yes.
Can never be.
Then Martha moved. Actually, I'm the one who moved and let you sit in the middle. Then he holds my hand like this.
Me?
Wow.
I remember how my heart was bursting like that moment. Like, why is this guy holding me like this? But every time I look at that, I remember that thing. I'm like, man, moments like that should happen again. Like, you're not sure about a person, you're not sure what their intentions are, but they are holding you like this among other people.
Your heart is beating.
Then we are coming back, I switch vans. I'm like, my knees are hurting, the taxi is so short, I'm so tall, and what?
Let me sit
I
next
go
to
to
you.
sit in his.
That's when you
statue.
remember that meme of Peter Sematimba. Heartbeats.
I heard this.
So he hugged you and you got heartbeats to another paramedic.
Man, things, high school things were happening. Butterflies in the bed.
That was our high school story.
Interesting. Cris, what's that one memorable moment you'll never forget and you wish it happens over again?
I think every moment is
From challenging me.
even the times when we really have a bad day.
Yeah.
Like she's just there.
Yeah.
Really memorable. And when she moved to Kampala,
It was a bit hard.
I don't know how many times he has fallen sick ever since I moved to Kampala.
Wamba! Hey! I was there 2 weeks back. I got to church, I'm like, Musumba, where are you? I'm home, I got a fever. It was hysteria. Anyway.
but every moment,
With her, it's memorable. It's a memorable moment. Interesting. Nila, what do you love most about him?
you're good.
Just 3 things you love most about him.
It's his love for people.
Mm.
I remember people used to blame me for loving people so much, wanting people in my space and hosting people in my space.
Yeah.
Like every time someone would disappoint me and people are like, HB now we need a way malamunyo. There's actually a chick that made a statement. Eno mbarara ya wa hustler. Stop making friendships.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was the way he loves people. Then his love for ministry. Oh my God. He'll run around like he's the administrator, he's the pastor, he's the assistant pastor, he's the running around like a headless chicken.
Mm.
Yeah, I love that about him. And the way he really loves me. Pablo, you've loved me. Cleared every doubt and started saying men are plates, men are offers. Men are
But like, I'll watch those TikTok videos and maybe this chick, whoever will marry her will be a hero. But here we are. Cris, what do you love most about her?
That's a very dangerous question to ask. Everything about you. Everything. I really never sit down to figure out this one particular thing. But from the time we met, there was just everything to love and nothing not to love. You get how open she is, how honest she is. There's no window of doubt at all about anything. And for anyone, that's really what you want. And also, I don't know. I just can't zero down to this one particular thing, but just you, the way you are.
I'll add you a fourth one. You're a very neat man.
Oh yeah, that one I can't argue.
I had issues dealing with people accusing me of being OCD because they can't be neat and they're like, "Hey, for you, OCD." I'm like, when did we get here? Just put my jerrycan back where it was.
So that element of the Kampala DJ moved away.
Even when I was a Kampala DJ, as a neat guy, as a neat guy, it's something that we learned the hard way growing up. Where you hear your meter's voice and things fall into place. Like, she taught us the hard way.
Just start emoji and you're like,
yeah.
Anyway, so how are the wedding preparations going on?
Tough.
That's very tough.
That's one thing we didn't prepare for,
Yeah.
honestly speaking. That's one thing we didn't prepare for.
Did you
For
just
us, we
rush?
were
didn't
ready
rush,
to get
yeah.
married.
But we didn't see the wedding.
We didn't see the wedding.
Yeah,
and
and
it
the
makes other
preparation.
people think we rushed.
Yes. But
Yeah,
we didn't
but-
rush. We are adults of sound mind. We know what we are doing.
You know what you want.
You
want.
get, yeah. Yeah, but the wedding preparations are such a tough thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, get this, get that. The service provider, think about it at 3 a.m. You change your mind, and now,
Now, another one.
yeah, it's
Then
just
with
tough.
my fear of disappointing people,
Yes.
like I fear
Then-
meeting someone
then-
in a
then-
place
then-
we
then
discuss,
we-
then I don't consider
Our
you.
guest list,
Yeah.
we have so many friends. Yeah, we just have so many friends, and that's also another problem now. Who do we invite? All our friends are significant.
Yeah.
This is something I just need to mention. We have some of the most important friends in our lives. They've really been there with us from the beginning of this journey.
Yeah.
Our friends have, yeah, so we have so many friends, and we love them, we pray for them. Yeah, but it's hard to fit them on our guest list.
So you're going to leave out
I
some.
hope you air this before our wedding. We apologize in advance.
It's
Our
definitely
senior
going to air.
lumpens, we are not.
We call
going to
them
have all of
lumpens.
you.
We call them,
Yeah.
Yeah, it will air definitely.
yeah, and yeah, but generally the wedding preparation is a tough one. If we knew earlier, we would have hired a wedding planner
I was like, that should have been the first
Yeah,
thing.
like just-
Wedding planner.
to just carry this burden.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And you've gotten all service providers now.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so away from the whole wedding planning, let's conclude with the parents. How were the parents' reactions, Nila, when you told them I'm bringing a man home?
There, start with Cris.
For me, seriously, it had been my parents' prayer.
Actually, we were supposed to wed in October.
Hey, the wedding was supposed to be in October.
But Chris's mom was like,
Just 2 weeks.
you're putting room for sin.
If it was up to her, this wedding should have happened in March. Right after our Kuchara. Our Kuchara was in February.
In
March.
February.
Yeah.
It was.
March.
Hey, which day?
10th.
Oh yeah, March.
Maybe
Yeah, it could have happened around that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a time I called my mom, and she told me, we usually pray together before calls end. So she asked me, how may I pray for you? And I asked her, I was believing God for something, and so I asked her to pray for me for favor. And she quoted the scripture that he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor before the Lord. So Cris, we're not going to pray about that. You find a wife.
You
There
get
was-
favor.
Yeah, find a wife. So that just telling you that to give you to show the propensity and the depth of how much she wanted me to get married. And so she prayed about it. So she was really happy. She was such a happy woman.
Wow.
If things turned around and this didn't happen, I don't know. But she was really happy. She traveled from the village and came for the Kuchala, and it was just joy upon joy upon her. Yeah.
Nila.
Anyway, for me, I'm so unlucky that I think all my life I've been misunderstood. Because I'm one person who will sit at Baguma and drink a soda, and the guy sits next to me, and I leave the guy there. Before I know it, my parents know I sat with a guy at Baguma who is not. Somehow I'm unlucky like that.
How would they even know themselves?
Somehow people used to take them rumors and rumors and rumors. So in their heads as this wasted person. And they didn't expect anything good from me, and as good as a husband. Like,
Wow.
I think they had actually given up. At this point, they were waiting for whatever happens. Yeah, you know, like when your aunties start throwing in with things, man, nyaka agenda, you should get married. But my parents were not bothered, like asking me, man, when. I've actually been disappointed before. Brought a man for lunch, and we talked about Mutala and everything. And actually, this is a guy I dated the longest.
Wow.
And then we reach home and we start preparing and waiting for the guy's response, and the guy is taking steps back. And I was like, I think that also took them back. Like after getting that excitement and the guy disappears, my dad no longer wanted that nonsense. So when I brought in this news, they were like, hey, no anchor, hey. When I mentioned he's born again, of course it did sit so well with them.
They wanted a Catholic.
Yeah, they're staunch Catholics.
Up to the knee.
Those ones.
Yeah, my father is a very staunch Catholic. He's one person I know that might have never stepped in a born again church. My mom has been there. She kind of knows about that life.
Yeah.
But my dad, and he wasn't really, like, he wasn't about the religion as such.
He was about the intentionality.
They welcomed him, bring him anytime. He started actually asking for the lunch, and this one running around. Should bring him home, we have lunch. And he's running around until he was like, he asked our Katera, is that guy the craziest guy at that church?
Wow.
Like, we've been planning lunch and planning, and he's not coming until the Katera was like,
you need to go. The guy told me, tomorrow after church, the first thing you're doing, jump on a bus to Kampala, go meet the man.
Me too.
Wow.
Yeah.
So their reaction was good that finally you made up your mind. And
like finally. I know it is surprising.
Yeah.
Even the getting born again is surprising to them. Yeah. They didn't think I'm this person.
Wow.
Compared to my siblings. They didn't see me getting here.
Wow. What a beautiful love story. What a beautiful love story. A youth pastor is finally doing the thing. And so before we close the show today, I want Cris, I want you to look at her and assure her. I'm starting with you, Cris. Look at her. Give her those words, and throw in those lines of Songs of Solomon. Because
we are doing our vows here.
just assure her of what is coming her way.
Oh, that's not a hard thing to do. But I've been assuring her before. But yeah, just every day. Yeah, but just to re-echo that the future is yet to start. And it's going to be a beautiful journey. It's going to be a beautiful journey. I want to be the best of myself and me entirely, not anyone else masquerading, but me entirely. And that's the one promise that I'll bring out to you right now. That it's going to be me
and the whole of me. Yeah, not masquerading in the form of anyone else. And also promise to love you and care for you and be a great husband. I've told you this over and over again. I promise to be a great husband and a great father to our children. Yeah.
And buy me high heel shoes.
Nila, look at him and assure him.
He knows I don't. You know, I don't play around. I play around. I don't play around, but I'm very intentional about this. And I'm an honest person. So what you see is what you get. You'll not hear anything else from anywhere. You won't get anything else from anywhere. This is me. I'm going to be a better me. A great mother to our children. To our twins.
What will give them to?
Please, my brother.
I thought you were worried about the sleepless nights. We have a great provider. So yeah, I'll be a very great mother to our Balongo. And about what else? The rest I'll tell you on our wedding day.
And on the record, I will be hosting the wedding. I just can't wait. I've known Cris for some time. It's been a while. Yeah. But anyway, thank you so much, guys, for coming through.
Welcome. Thank you for having us. Yeah, we've been watching the other couples.
Yeah.
Which one was your favorite?
The first one.
John and Bridget. You guys guys
How
like
many years?
Those guys are legends.
This time.
And here we're having a couple that has dated for 8 months.
And we're gonna
8
get
months and
married.
we're getting married. So this shows you that if you're out there and you think that you're going to first study a person, some musicians say, "Onamala kunda bamugenda."
Sili muyembe.
Siri muyembe ntyo.
Oninda kwengera.
Oninda kwengera. Let me tell you.
How do you guys know these things?
If you meet a person and you feel like that is your person, you resonate well with them, you feel like, yeah, you guys vibe, go and do the thing. Me, I met my wife in September 2022. We started talking in September. We started dating in October. Yeah? I proposed in April the following year.
There's no difference.
We had Kuchala. We had Kuchala in June. Kuhinjira was December. January last year.
Tada.
We were there.
When I met you, you were so in love. 1 minute.
You remember Bushenyiga?
Actually, that time she had flown out of the country. She's going to be at the airport. She's going to be at the
Who was out of the
I want
country?
to be here. Mark Lee.
I was in love. Actually, that day we had lunch together.
Yeah, she was abroad and we were talking. And I'm like, one night.
That is
He's lucky.
Anyway, so guys, you've heard it from this beautiful couple. If you're dating someone's daughter out there and you are waiting, you're making them wait, a guy is going to come out of the blood. You guys go
Wedding.
Hey, you remember the Siri Muyembe story? Hey, Siri Muyembe, let me tell you, when a person thinks about something, they do it. So this is just advice to young couples out there. Even in church, they tell us, yes, you're dating, but it should not be for long. Because guys, you're dating that girl out there. Trust me, she will not tell it to you, but she wants things official. And my wife told me that, trust me, when we were dating, I was not sure. But it's not until you proposed that I was now sure that he is mine.
Yeah.
So if you're dating out there, you've not proposed and you've not yet shown your intentions of making things official, trust me, she is not yet yours.
Fire bombastic.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for coming through. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure hosting Mr. and Mrs. Ongeimungu to be. Yeah. And so keep on watching, keep on sharing. Do not forget to subscribe. God bless you and catch you again next time.
Great.